Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comic Book Discussion with Van. Today, we will discuss whether or not Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson should be together as a couple. The short answer is no, so if you are looking for something else, feel free to move on. As noted in my Who's Who of comics, Mary Jane was originally written as a foil to Peter Parker's intended soulmate at the time, Gwen Stacy. Peter, at this time, and even today, as we can discuss later, was more attracted to intellectual women such as Gwen Stacy. Gwen and Peter had an undeniable chemistry. Unfortunately, Gwen Stacy was killed by the Green Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man number 121. Prior to dating Peter, Mary had been dating Peter's best friend, Harry Osborn. That relationship was broken off when Harry Osborn became the second Green Goblin. It was only at this time that Peter and Mary Jane were driven together by plot and grief, not by mutual attraction. The two of them did share a passionate kiss at one point and kindled a romance for a while. But when Peter originally proposed to Mary Jane in Amazing Spider-Man number 183, she declined, stating she was too much of a free spirit to be tied down. The two of them did become friends and remained friends after the breakup. However, Mary Jane was continually getting more and more upset with Peter as he would miss their friend dates by putting himself in harm's way as Spider Man. Eventually, Mary Jane left for college in Florida to help her mother, but also as an escape from having to deal with Peter. After Peter finally confided his secret to Mary Jane, years and years later, Mary Jane revealed that she had already known, and the two of them ended up in another romantic relationship. Eventually, that relationship turned into a marriage. Marriage, however, was not meant to last. As we get into everybody's favorite storyline, One More Day by J. Michael Straczynski and Joe Quesada, starting in Amazing Spider-Man number 544. In this story, Peter makes a deal to save his elderly aunt from a gunshot wound at the cost of his marriage to Mary Jane. Even though many of us accept that this was poor writing caused by even poorer editorial decision making, this story solidified that Peter Parker and Mary Jane, by extension, saw his relationship with Mary Jane as expendable. Now, after they magically deal with a devil induced divorce, we saw Peter become increasingly unhinged when it came to Mary Jane. Peter would become greatly jealous at the mere mention of Mary Jane being near another man. Eventually, Mary Jane and a man named Paul ended up stuck in another universe for 4 years where they had and raised children together. It turns out that those children were fake. However, when they eventually escaped, Peter had found them in the original Earth. Peter again tried to make advances towards Mary Jane, to which she rejected. She no longer had any interest. She was with Paul. To this date, Mary Jane remains with Paul, and they have begun working on raising Eddie Brock's, or the former Venom's, son Dylan in lieu of the children that they had lost. Remember, the fake children. Mary Jane, however, was not the only one to move on. Peter Parker has dated many, many, many women after their editorial-induced divorce. Many of these includes the likes of Felicia Hardy, Black Cat, Cindy Moon, aka Silk, and most recently Shay Markin. I do want to note that unlike most of the women in Peter's life, Shay Markin is a character who is on the other side of the superhero world. Shay was introduced in Amazing Spider-Man Volume 6, number 45, working as a psychiatric nurse. As a nurse, she works to help people, including, and mostly, former villains, to recover from the worst of their mental illnesses. At one point, Shay even had a hand in reforming Sandman. And since dating Shay, Peter has done something that he's never done with any of his previous girlfriends. He hung up the spandex to go on a date with Shay. This single act lends some credence to the idea that Peter's feelings towards Shay may be stronger than any he's felt towards a romantic partner, save possibly Gwen Stacy, had she survived. Certainly more than Mary Jane. On a different note, I do believe that Mary Jane and Felicia Hardy could be an amazing couple if Marvel would ever let that happen. Felicia was originally the one who encouraged Mary Jane to become a superhero and shine all on her own, and since then, Mary Jane has been leading very heavily with her relationship with Felicia. Now, from what we've discussed today about Mary Jane and Peter, they are not a healthy couple. To begin with, their relationship was started for the wrong reasons and has been unstable since its inception. Neither Peter nor Mary Jane saw fit to commit fully to their relationship for many years, and even then, they ended their relationship to save Peter's very elderly aunts. And since then, both Peter and Mary Jane have become close or began relationships with people that appear to be much, much healthier for them. Because of these many faults and their inability to maintain a healthy relationship together, the two of them would be best as friends if they can even manage that. Thank you for coming out to the comic book discussions with Van. I hope you come out to the next one, and I hope you guys have a great day.